How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Big D here. Time to review Blunt Talk Season 1, Episode 5, titled The Queen of Hearts. This is a spoiler review. If you have not seen the episode, please make sure to go to Stars before next Saturday, before Episode 6, because they're always showing, literally every day, they're showing reruns of the latest Blunt Talk. So make sure to catch a rerun there, or www.stars.com. I guess if you have an account or membership, you can watch the episode there, watch it, the rerun. So either you have two choices, pick wisely. Spoiler review, like I said, should take me less than 2 minutes to recap this episode, give you my pros and cons, and final score, tell you what I thought. Real quick, not Stars related, but other TV shows. Tomorrow is Monday, September 21st, which means I will be reviewing Gotham Season 2, Minority Report, and Blind Spot. Make sure that you guys do not miss that if you're fans of any of those shows, or if you're interested in any of those shows. I will do a spoiler review for them, so make sure you actually watch the show first. Come back to me. We'll be good now, mate. Anyway, here we go. See, I'm sorry I didn't do episode 4 last week. I was at Comic-Con, and I totally thought I recorded my thing, and it didn't record, so my DVR it's bad. I know. I was pissed off. I was like, ah! And the rerun was already over because it was episode 5, so I missed out, guys. I'm sorry. So, Walter hasn't had sex or intercourse within 7 months. It's been 7 months since intercourse, and last girl he had sex with was named Margot, excuse me. Margaret or Margot, I already forgot there. So he's just friends with Giselle. We actually see Giselle. Of course, we've seen Giselle in episode 1. She was a transgender woman, and she's there, and she says, "Oh, I want to turn my life around." And there's this guy who I always pushed away, but I love him and everything. It was a really touching moment, and he was there to hook up with Giselle, and now he's kind of like, well, okay, my dear. All that going down. So Jimmy is in therapy, and he has a foot fetish. He has a feet fetish, so he's kind of like a foot man, and he's talking to the therapist. And I love how Rosalise just comes in, and he's like, "We're in session." Like every single time he gets interrupted, "We're still in session." I don't know. It's just a running gag going on in the show. I really do enjoy it. And they're cleaning out his office, and he's like, "No, but I like this in the shoe. Is this my shoe?" So. Jimmy's weird, honestly, but I just love the way that he's portrayed. I really think that, what's his name? That actor should play him, the one that was the hobo in this episode. I'll get to it. Schwimmer? No, it may come to me during here. Walter meets Duncan, the guy who played Duncan. I totally forgot his name, that actor. He was the villain in Scott Pilgrim. I may come to it. So the Red Shoes movie quote, he does a Red Shoes movie quote before I stop watching movies, one of my favorite movies. So he hurts his leg, he's like, oh, are you okay? No, he just hurts his leg. He's so family friendly, and they like recycle and everything. I recycle. I mean, a lot of people, I think 90% of the world recycles, but that's what we're pushing for. Anyway, he meets Suzanne, Walter meets Suzanne, he's going to interview her for her new book. She ends up being a big fan, so she's wearing red shoes and everything, so Harry brings Celia to a gambling, like a gambling place, and they're all like weird and mean, and they're like, "What are you going to bet?" And she gives them pearls, but it ended up being fake pearls, so they had to run away, because the magician, I guess, last week gave her pearls. I didn't get to see that episode, so I kind of missed out on that. So he does the interview, and he's being a little bit too soft on Suzanne. So he fights back. They end up telling him to fight back. And at the end of the episode, he's sleeping with Suzanne. He knows that she said, like, "Oh, I was softening you up and everything," saying that I was a big fan, blah, 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 blah. And that goes all down. So what did I think about this Blunt Talk episode overall? Well, let's have a Blunt Talk here. First off, here are my pros. Jimmy in this episode is funny. I think he's one of the best in here. Just his role in here, and the whole feet fetish, and the way that he portrays himself, and he's just a good sport overall, man. And when they're when the guy he's like, "I'm wearing contact lenses. I'm missing one contact lens. That's why I'm squinting." And he's like, he looks back there, like looking at him. This is the way it all goes. You gotta be careful with Jimmy and how their facial reactions go. Duncan in here, played by what's his name? Oh, I totally forget, man. Wow. Duncan, the character in Duncan in there. I'm totally gonna remember it after I cut off this. It's a funny episode, you know. I've laughed more in episode 1 and episode 3. But it had funny moments in here for sure. Of course, Giselle. I love seeing Giselle back. I really loved her in the first episode. I think that with the whole car scene and everything was intimate, and then now here she's back, and I don't know if we're ever going to see her again, but for sure it's good to have her come back and do a little small role. It was very nice of that. Walter's being funny, of course, as always, when he was reading the book and he came out. She thinks about this. Like 5 minutes later. Did you know that he just keeps on interrupting everyone when they're fighting over a foot fetish outside? The interview, the murder with murder, and his whole speech and everything, that really got to me, man. And that actually made me start thinking about executions and everything. And I know it was thinking about all funny comedian, and then it gets you into thinking, it gets your mind thinking. This is a really blunt talk here. Rosalise and her husband, and the whole the contacts thing between the lenses, and then her husband, Ed Junior, I totally forgot his last name, but he has no underwear. He has underwear, but he doesn't have pants. He's like, shit, I spilled hot sauce on my pants, and he just had. It'd be funny if everyone had dirty underwear. I think that would have been way more funnier. But either way, it was really funny. I like Rosalise and the therapist. We're in session all the time, and he's giving away people's information. It's just he's not a very good therapist overall. Now the cons. The gambling really went nowhere in this episode. Let's be honest. The whole gambling aspect of this episode really went nowhere. It was just a side story that never ended up anywhere except, oh, she had fake run away. That's it. That's basically the subplot in this episode. The ending, per se, about them sleeping together, I really didn't enjoy that ending, per se. Where you left on a high note. I didn't leave on a high note. Because it was very predictable in a sort of way, because when she was I want your autograph and everything, it was sort of predictable that she's faking it because the nice family over here, and then this girl who you've been hating the whole episode, it's very predictable on what's gonna go down basically in this episode. And not much Duncan. I wanted to see more Duncan. Still trying to remember the name, man. Holy crap. I'm going to waste my time here. Either way, it needed more Duncan in the family in there. I thought that they were just hilarious, and I want to see more of that actor later. I think he'd be amazing more in the show. Ladies and gents, I'm going to give Blunt Talk a B-. It's a good episode overall. You know, it's average. It's an 8 out of 10. It was really good. But it could have been better, you know. It had the funny moments here and spread out, and then it just had those moments where you listen to the story, but then the gambling, and then you're not really interested in the gambling because Harry's awesome in here, but just the whole Oak Perils, and it would have been more better if they just gambling somewhere else, or just it didn't fit well in there when you had the interview and then the family, and then you had the foot fetish, and then you had the eye contact. It's hard to fit everything in there. So overall, it's just a B-. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all next Saturday or Sunday for more Blunt Talk. We should walk to Blunt right here, right now, but not anymore. Thanks for watching. I'm Daniel Rodriguez, aka Big D. You all subscribe for more. Please don't hesitate. It is free. If it wasn't free, I wouldn't press it either. But since it's free, I'd just be like, you know what? I'll give it a try. If it doesn't work in a week, then forget it. That sort of thing. Anyway, the spot be with you always.